Good morning. Happy Monday morning. It is 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time here in Scottsdale, Arizona. And we're streaming live from my studio at Cattletrack Ranch. I just wanted to check in and see how everyone is doing. We are very close to transitioning into the end of the year. And as each day passes, we're getting closer and closer to saying goodbye to the year of the pig. And that means the energy of the rat is getting stronger and stronger. So good morning, Monita. So before I get started, I just wanted to let everybody know that I am giving away a special prize this morning for our audience that have taken the time out of their Monday morning to tune in live. So if you could like, share, and comment this post, and maybe when you say hi, you can also indicate where are you from, where are you streaming from. And I'll reveal what the special prize will be a little bit later. So I do want to take a moment and talk about the coming energy. So on December 7th, we are officially entering into the month of the rat. And this is significant because we are going into the year of the rat. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the energy combination for the month. December is called the fire rat. And as some of you may or may not know, if you've been studying BaZi or you have consulted in BaZi, you know that the fire element is significant in many ways. For instance, the fire energy is essential for the economic health. So the performance of the stock market, for instance. Fire is also important to balance the body, to be in good health. And so some people may say, well, there is fire in the energy of the month, so isn't that a good thing? But from a technical standpoint, this fire element is actually very superficial. Why? Because this fire element sits on top of water. There is absolutely no wood to support the fire. And even so, the rat is also considered a very powerful water element. And it also symbolizes the peak of the winter season. So it is the utmost or the most ultimate yin element. And so for people whose BaZi chart perhaps needs fire, for example, if your day master is weak wood, weak fire, what did I just say? Weak wood, weak fire, then it is essential for your BaZi chart to have the support of fire. So with the lack of fire energy coming into sort of the cosmic influence, you may notice your energy shifting, or it has already begun to shift, where you may not feel as energetic. And when you look at for example, the global outlook, what's happening in the world in terms of the politics, how the stock market is a bit fickle right now, all of that is a result of why we're all transitioning into the utmost yin. And so what that means is we're heading into a gloomier period. And in fact, when I just got back from our annual convention in Singapore, a lot of our masters, grandmasters, and experts have predicted the same thing using different modalities in terms of what would be the outlook looking like ahead. And so it is a little bit gloomier, it's slower. The water energy symbolizes fear, and so it causes a lot of anxiety. People feel a little bit more nervous. The need to cocoon in, for example, or to reserve their energy or to protect themselves. It's a much more conservative period, if you will. And so, I always say that we learn BaZi because we want to understand what is the fixed energy coming in, and in part that is really called destiny, right? Because you can't help, there's no way to stop the rat energy from coming. That's just a way of life. However, we learn this so that we can empower ourselves to understand how to better navigate around the energy. And so I do believe in part that we can control our destiny in terms of our attitude and our perspective. And we just learn to understand how it impacts us specifically, not in a general kind of macro way. And so learning more about your Baazi at a more intimate level is so essential and so powerful, that I've never had a single person that ever told me that they wish they had known their Baazi. In fact, they become overly enthusiastic because learning about how the energy, the inner workings of it is so tangible. We're not talking about what's happening in the past life and what's happening in the future life. We're very much talking about our human experience today. And so to me, that is the modality of Baazi is so interesting and definitely life-changing. So when we have too much water with the lack of fire, how does that impact our bodies? When we look at the balance between water and fire, that is for the ladies, it's your hormones, but also too much water that is related to our kidneys. And for some people, it depends on your circumstance in terms of your state of health. It may not necessarily be anatomically the kidneys, but we kind of run through the gamut and say, how am I doing physically? How am I doing emotionally? How am I doing spiritually? And so while your kidneys, actual kidneys, are fine, so let's say you did blood work and there's nothing showing up in your kidneys, but it might impact you emotionally, or it may impact you spiritually. And so you kind of have to run through the gamut and say, okay, how is the chi, how is the energy related to the kidney aspect affecting my overall wellness? And so if you're prone to depression, or you're prone to being more introverted, or kind of stuck in your head a little bit, this is very much true for our strong wood people, particularly strong yang wood day master, because yang wood is the head. And so when you're a strong tree, you don't need any more water energy. And so all this incoming, powerful water energy is sort of feeling like it's drowning you, and it feels a little bit like it's suffocating. And so those types of charts tend to exhibit more anxious personality, and they tend to be a little bit more susceptible to depression. So how do we flip that is, we know that the fire is fake, all right, even though there's a little bit of fire there, but it's really not there at all. It cannot exist in the winter time, and it cannot exist when there is no support from the bottom. So you try to bring in the fire element in your life, and we know that the fire element represents joy, right, and optimism and celebration. And so it becomes even more essential, for example, for you to create more fire in your life. And that may not necessarily be, the colors that you wear on your clothing, although if that makes you happy, then go ahead. But creating fire is really what we put inside our body. So that would be the foods, for example. If you follow Chinese medicine, there's certain types of foods that are considered to support the fire element. And obviously the fire is related to our heart, to our eyes, and to our blood circulation. And so what are some of the things that ignite the heart is, through exercising, whether that's cardiovascular exercise and aerobics, or literally just sitting in a sauna and sweating it out and creating the heat in the body, and also eating certain types of herbs that are considered fire, like ginger and turmeric and cayenne pepper, just a little bit of something that spice up the digestive system a little bit. And we always say that a strong heart is a strong belly. So if you ever feel discomfort around your stomach region, whether that's bloatedness or constipation, for example, or you're very sensitive to foods. So that's one, the physical aspect. But then what is the emotional and the spiritual side is earth. The stomach is an earth element. It's talking about feeling grounded and feeling whole, and feeling confident and trustworthy, and having faith, for example, the ability to sort of surrender to things and knowing that everything will work out. So if you feel like those are some symptoms are showing up that are a little bit of a telltale sign that your belly is not as strong as it needs to be, then you kind of revert back up to the heart space to say, what's going on with my heart chi? What's happening, physically, spiritually, emotionally with my heart? Do I feel joyful, or am I bogged down and feeling really serious about life? Am I able to create more events or experiences in my life that is uplifting, rather the water energy is kind of more of a downward pull. So these are just some of the things that we have to pay attention to. And so as we enter into the month of the rat, I strongly urge you to take the next 30, 31 days of December. And when I mean December is December 7th through January 6th. That is the solar calendar, not the Gregorian calendar. I urge you to just be sort of like this neutral observer, if you will, and pull yourself out of your body or whatever, and kind of like be a witness to your experience. And I want you to observe your mood, the kind of conversations you're having with people, what's shifted from November to December, right? Because that is also a telltale sign of how you're moving into a different cycle. This is very precious. That's why we learn BaZi, because everything is just a cycle. It repeats itself. It's like the season. You can always anticipate it's spring and then summer and then fall and then winter. And then it repeats. So the more you recognize the patterns, the more you feel equipped to prepare yourself and feel more, empowered, whatever that might be. Even if it is a challenging time ahead, there are still so many things that you can do to manage the cycle. And that's why we always say BaZi is to understand the ups and the downs of life. But December is kind of funky. We are expecting to see a little bit of, maybe some more fickle energy in the stock market. It's not so stable. Even the flying star for the month is not so good. All of the prosperous stars are stuck in the center palace, which we know to be a very, very tiny area in terms of the entire pie chart. So there will be a lot of conserving, and the overall sense of mood is kind of, like I said, gloomy, cautious, conservative. And these are the adjectives that you don't normally want to hear when you're thinking about the health of the economy. You want it to be risky and bold and exciting and confident. That is when investors take risks and they invest and they buy and they spend money. So these are just some telltale signs for you to look out. I would love to hear your feedback, particularly at the end of December, to see how has what sort of events have manifested and how have you really paid attention to what's happening around you. Okay, a couple more things. The rat, I do want to bring this up, even though of course it creates a lot of powerful water energy, but the rat is also called a peach blossom. So for some of you, you may know peach blossom to be associated with love and charisma and social status, for example. So if rat is your peach blossom, if you were born in the year or the day of the pig, rabbit, and goat, then rat is your peach blossom. But you have to be careful with the rat. It depends on the configuration of your whole chart, like how this rat is going to impact you. Because remember, energy is not one size fits all. There's many, many different types of effect depending on the whole of your chart. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you have a rabbit sign in your 4 pillars, for example, you were born in the year of the rabbit, but I would say more significantly, if you were born on the day of the rabbit, then the rat and the rabbit, when they connect, when they see each other, they actually create an energy called a relationship penalty, or a two penalty. Two penalty is essentially relationship penalty. And you know, the name itself is quite straightforward. What kind of penalty is it creating? It's creating penalty with relationships in your life. And so that's why I say it's more significant if you're born on the day of the rabbit, because as you know, the day is everything that you cherish. This is if you're married, your spouse, if you have children, your children. It impacts your house, you know, sort of the immediate people in your life, especially if you're also an employer and you have employees. Of course, it also impacts your subordinates. And so this relationship penalty, what does it mean? Well, it's not nice. I guess I just say it bluntly. It creates a lot of mistrust. I have so many case studies of not really just even famous people, but everyday people, how the rat and rabbit relationship penalty impacts them. And, you know, the overall theme is a lot of disloyalty, mistrust, miscommunication, backstabbing. I can't even think of enough adjectives, but I believe mistrust and disloyalty pretty much summarizes it. And so, and even abuse, it can happen in physical or sexual or emotional abuse. That's also showed up. So, what does that mean? If you have a rabbit in your day, then that means you have to be extra cautious with the relationships in your life. So, for example, if you're married, you want to make sure you have some good conversations to prepare for the year, and just to make sure you're on the same page. You want the same thing, you have the right sort of aligned expectations so that you can protect and preserve that relationship. But oftentimes it's something, it just happens in life, and you kind of look back and wonder, oh my gosh, like, why did that happen? Could I have done anything differently? Could I have prevented it? Well, yes and no. No, because the energy is coming, but yes, I believe that elevating this to a sense of awareness does allow you to handle some of the relationship conflicts a little bit better. You know, I've had several clients, in fact, that have the rat rabbit penalty, although they're not even related, they're not even in the same country, and people are not even in the same state. For example, a very common one is perhaps some inheritance issues that come about because of a passing of a parent. And so what happens is the siblings are fighting. And so that is an example of a relationship penalty. And also disloyalty between spouses, or also a betrayal of a friend. Maybe a friend revealed a secret that, you know, they promised they weren't going to say anything. So that's the impact of relationship penalty in terms of, you know, between people. So how does this also impact our health? Well, this is our, what do you call this? The lower half of our body, which is our sexual productive organs, a boy or a girl, and our urinary tract, and also the legs. Okay, so the lower half of our body. So those are the things we also have to pay attention to. It's very interesting. I've been doing Baazi for so long that, you know, when you talk to, let's say, 10 people, and they all have similarities in terms of how the energy impacts them. And when you ask them, okay, what happened? What they say may appear to be different, right? So some person may say, oh, I got a lot of urinary tract infection that year. And then you may have another person that says, oh my gosh, I was so depressed, or I was feeling really low. And then you have another person that says, that was the year I cut off my sister from my life, something like this. So if you were not familiar with Baazi, you would think those are three very separate types of events. But when you learn more about the 5 elements, you actually know that the common theme here is water. So that's the fun part about Baazi. So that's kind of a quick, you know, sort of a explosion of information. So just pay attention to that. There's certain things that you can do, like I said, but it's better to actually see the chart as a whole so that we can better understand where are you at in your luck cycle. Is this not as painful, or is this really something that it can create harm, danger? And so what can we do to get you all ready? So, sorry, I'm a little cold out here, but one of the things that we do in Baazi is we of course, we encourage people to have awareness to do something about it, right? Whether that's taking care of your health and protecting your relationship, and also addressing the feng shui of your house. Because when you have these sort of susceptibility in your Baazi, you become more sensitive to the feng shui of your house. So if your bedroom or the important areas of your house is already a little bit weak in feng shui, then that means you will be more susceptible, more sensitive to the impact of the feng shui. So take care of health, take care of your action, preserve your relationships, take care of feng shui. And then one other thing is we also encourage people to carry an amulet because the amulet is very tangible, it's very visible. You can see, feel, touch it. And so sometimes the amulet, when you see it, it kind of reminds you that this is a path you're supposed to be on. We don't really know if it totally absolves the energy, but it does help with the psychological impact in terms of understanding, okay, I have to go through this tunnel, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel because I know it's only 1 year, okay? So this year, my girlfriend and I, Karen Moore, owner of Zen by Karen Moore, located in the Florida Keys, every year we design, she's a jewelry designer, and excuse me, we always work together to create something really, really special that is a little bit more unique, more intentional, more meaningful. And so this year we created an aromatherapy bracelet called the Howlite. And this is a semi-precious gemstone called the Howlite. She, every year when we get together, she's like, okay, Jen, tell me what the new year is about. Give me some words, give me some directives. And then she kind of put things together, and we hold the gems and we learn the meaning of the gems to see, does it really support and align with the incoming energy. Well, Howlite is really great for like mental clarity, and also for spirituality, groundedness of spiritual practice. And it's a transformative year, 2020, all that water energy. Just imagine the waves of the ocean. But in order to transform, you have to hurt a little bit. You have to go through something first in order for you to really come out of it, to overcome whatever situation it is that you're going through, and then to kind of come out at the end a little bit shinier. And so this year, again, we're doing the aromatherapy bracelet. If you had last year was the tiger eye, but this year we're doing the Howlite. And 2020 is a metal water year, and metal is white, water is black, okay? And then the metal element, the number is 6, so that's why we have 6 gemstones. And then also, we decided, we were really motivated this year for some reason. We decided to also do a special blend of an essential oil. It's pure, 100% pure. And we had our own little formula mixing frankincense, bergamot, and myrtle in a jojoba oil, carrier oil. And so you can't smell this, but it smells so delicious. I sold out actually of these in Singapore when I was selling them. It's actually surprisingly very grounding. It has a more earthy smell to it, but it's not super floral, okay? It's not a citrusy at all where it's like, whoa, uplifting. And you would think that for a heavy, heavy water year that you would want things to be uplifted, but actually the whole point is to stay grounded, truly rooted down. And that can mean rooting down in your values, rooting down in your routine, rooting down in your relationship, rooting down, protecting your house. And so that, of course, the first blend is frankincense, and we know that that's a very powerful healing and kind of a nourishing, purifying oil. And so you can buy these together. You can go on my website under shop, and you can take a look. And we only ship in the US, in North America, but you get it in this little package again. So and with a card. So if you want to purchase this to anybody, but if you know you have a connection to the rat year, then sure, go ahead and buy one. But you can of course still purchase one and enjoy it. And I wear mine here. Obviously, I have several, but that's my aromatherapy. And you can just sort of put it right there, and then you just rub it. And it stays on you for the day. Or if you just want the oil, you can just use it as a little perfume. It's super fun. All right, so that's that. I want to quickly wrap up, but I want to remind people that if you're in Scottsdale, I am doing my annual. This is my 7th year of doing a Chinese New Year talk. We have so much fun right here at the ranch, but I'm also offering the presentation on a recording, so you can still enjoy the presentation and learn more about the Year of the Rat from all different facets right in the comforts of your home. So again, go to my website, fengshuibyjen.com, and don't forget, you know, the holiday is around the corner, so I want to quickly say that if you purchase this, there's actually a free course in here. If you're interested in learning more about Chinese face reading, we have an amazing master from Spain, Master Olga Garcia, who wrote an article on face reading with a very, very cool story. And she has generously offered a free introductory course on face reading that you can access when you purchase one of these copies. This is also available in digital form, so you know, if you don't want a hard copy, you can still enjoy it from your laptop. And of course, if you know anyone that is an enthusiast, or you want to stock up on your own, you can, of course, purchase the bundle. We're running a limited sale for the holiday, so it's so fun. And these 4 copies, when I reflect on this, there is so much experience and expertise just in these copies of amazing practitioners all throughout the world that have taken the time out of their busy lives to just contribute something inspiring and informative and educational. So definitely check it out. And that is it. I have taken up your time this morning. I didn't have time to make coffee, but thanks, Starbucks. I wish you all a fantastic Thanksgiving holiday. And if you have any questions, let's see. If there are any questions, good morning, Rosie. Philippines, how are you? Oregon Coast, good morning, Janine. Oh, hi, Dusty. Thank you. And now we're going to, hi, Dr. Anna from Australia. I think you're in Singapore right now, but nice to see you. Samira, thank you. Fantastic. Well, we will go ahead and choose the winner and contact you via Facebook. So what is the gift? The gift is this. So you'll get one of these. We will ship one to you, but I'll have my assistant just take a look who was able to like, share, and comment following the rules of Facebook Live. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your time, your enthusiasm, your trust. I wish you all a fantastic holiday break, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.